Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington, Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news all right. Folks, buckle up because the NFL rumor mill is buzzing again. And this time, the Washington Commanders are at the center of a potential blockbuster move that could reshape their entire offensive line, and ultimately their chances in the upcoming season. The buzz is that the Commanders are eyeing a trade to bring in Quenton Nelson from the Indianapolis Colts. Yeah, you heard that right. Nelson, the standout guard who's been one of the NFL's most reliable and dominant interior linemen over the past few years, might soon be donning the burgundy and gold. And if this deal goes through, it could be a game changer for Washington's offense, especially given the current state of their offensive line and overall team performance. Now let's get into the details because this isn't just any trade rumor. According to sources close to the negotiations, the Commanders are in serious talks with the Colts about swapping a first-round pick in the 2026 NFL Draft and a fourth-round pick in 2027 for Nelson. That's a hefty price, but in the NFL, especially when it comes to upgrading the trenches, it's often worth it. The reasoning behind this move is pretty clear. The Commanders' offensive line has had its share of struggles, especially in pass protection and run blocking. Last season, they allowed 45 sacks, which ranked them 16th in the league. Not terrible, but definitely an area to improve. Their run game, while not the worst, averaged only about 3.7 yards per carry, which is mediocre at best. They need a dominant presence up front, someone who can be the cornerstone of their offensive line for years to come. Enter Quenton Nelson. This guy is a proven elite guard, a six-time Pro Bowler with a career PFF grade of 92, one which is outstanding. In 2025, he played 17 games, allowed just one sack, and earned a PFF grade of 89. 9 with a run-blocking grade of 87. 5, he's a pancake machine, 38 pancakes last season, and he's been known as one of the most reliable interior linemen in the league. Not only that, but Nelson's ability to anchor the line and provide protection, especially in cold-weather games, makes him a perfect fit for the Commanders' offensive scheme. His presence could stabilize the interior, allowing quarterback Sam Howell to operate more comfortably and giving the running game a much-needed boost. Looking at the Colts, their season last year was less than stellar, finishing 7-10 and ranking 26th in defense, giving up an average of 26.1 points per game. They're in a rebuilding phase, especially with cap space being tight at around $7 million in 2026, and they're eyeing future draft picks, including a potential wide receiver pick after trading away some of their current assets like Michael Pittman Jr. to rebuild their roster. The Colts seem to be in a mode where they're willing to sell high on some of their veteran assets, especially if they believe they can accelerate their rebuild with future picks and cap space flexibility. But from the Commanders' perspective, acquiring Nelson wouldn't just be about fixing their line temporarily. It would be about solidifying their front line for the long haul. For the Commanders, this move would have a significant impact. Their offensive line would instantly jump into the top 8 units in the league, and that's no small feat. The improvement in sacks allowed could be around 18%, dropping from 45 to roughly 37 sacks, which would be a huge step forward. Their rushing yards per game could see a boost of about 20%, jumping from around 110 yards to closer to 132 yards per game. That kind of upgrade would dramatically open up the offense, making the play action more effective, giving Sam Howell more time to find his receivers, and creating more lanes for the running backs. Additionally, the presence of a guard like Nelson could serve as a true anchor, someone who can handle the toughest interior defenders, especially in cold weather or playoff atmospheres. Speaking of the playoffs, the impact on the Super Bowl odds is also worth noting. Currently, the Commanders' chances are around plus 2,500, but with Nelson anchoring the line, some betting sites suggest those odds could improve to around plus 950. That's a massive jump, reflecting the belief that with a top-tier guard protecting Howell and creating running lanes, the team would be much more competitive in the postseason. Nelson's ability to perform in clutch moments, especially in colder playoff games, makes him an X factor. His experience, resilience, and skill set could be the difference maker in critical moments when every play counts. Now let's talk about the Colts. They're somewhat skeptical about this move, seeing their offensive line as a developing but still fragile unit. They worry that losing Nelson could weaken their interior line even further, especially since rebuilding takes time and patience. The Colts are aiming to get younger and faster, and they believe that a rebuild with multiple draft picks and cap space will eventually lead them back to respectability. But from the Commanders' side, this isn't just about patching up a weak spot. It's about creating a foundation for sustained success. They've already shown in recent seasons that investing in the offensive line pays dividends. Think of how Joe Thuney's addition in Kansas City boosted their line in 2023, or how a solid line helps protect a young QB and opens up the run game. In fact, the Commanders' current offensive line, while improved over recent years, still has room to grow. They've got a good core, but adding Nelson would elevate their status to one of the league's best, enabling them to dominate at the line of scrimmage. With a more robust line, the entire offense becomes more versatile and unpredictable, forcing defenses to respect both the run and the pass. This upgrade could also help Daniels, the quarterback, by increasing his completion percentage. Projections suggest a potential plus 9% boost, pushing it from around 61% to nearly 70%. That kind of efficiency is what can turn close games into victories. Looking ahead, the Commanders are probably envisioning a future similar to the legendary Cowboys, dominant offensive lines of the 1990s, or even the top-tier units from the early 2000s. Their goal is to build a line so formidable that defenses fear coming into FedEx Field, especially in cold-weather playoff situations. Nelson's reputation as a cold-weather protector makes him even more appealing, considering the NFL's playoff schedule often involves frosty conditions. His presence in the locker room and on the field would inspire confidence, and his leadership as a veteran would be invaluable for the young players on the roster. Of course, the Colts are trying to rebuild their roster and may not be as eager to give up Nelson, especially given his value as one of the league's best guards. They're cautious, weighing the immediate cap hit and how it might affect their long-term rebuild. But for the Commanders, this is a golden opportunity. With around $32 million in cap space, they're well-positioned to absorb Nelson's $25 million cap hit, and they see this as an investment in their Super Bowl ambitions. The front office is clearly aiming high, and if they can pull this off, it could send shockwaves through the NFC East. And let's not forget, with Nelson protecting the blind side and anchoring the interior, the team's overall confidence will soar. It's about consistency, durability, and establishing a culture of dominance on the line. This move, if finalized, would be a statement that the Commanders are serious about competing at the highest level, not just for this season, but for years to come. The front office has been strategic in building around young talent like Sam Howell, and adding a veteran like Nelson could be the piece that finally pushes them over the top. Now, fans, I know some of you might be skeptical, questioning whether Nelson's injury history. He's had some minor knee issues in the past, but nothing significant recently could be a concern. But let's be honest, his overall durability and elite performance make him worth the risk. Plus, with proper medical staff and management, the Commanders can mitigate those concerns. This team has shown it's capable of making bold moves before, and this could be the move that defines their next chapter. In summary, if this trade becomes reality, the Washington Commanders would be taking a huge leap forward. They'd be upgrading their offensive line with a true star, boosting their run game, protecting their quarterback, and elevating their chances in the playoffs. It's a move that screams championship and shows the front office's commitment to building a team that can compete with the best in the league. Fans, this could be the start of a new era, one where Washington's offensive line dominates the NFC East and helps propel the team back to Super Bowl contention. The NFL offseason is always full of surprises, but if this deal goes through, it will be remembered as one of the smartest investments in recent Commanders' history. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. So my fellow Commanders fans, what do you think? Is this the upgrade we've been waiting for? Do you believe Nelson can be the anchor that takes our offense to the next level? Or do you think the Colts are making a mistake by letting go of such a talented player? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion really matters. I want to hear what you think about this potential trade and what it could mean for the team's future. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, rumors, and analysis, so stay tuned for all the latest Washington Commanders news. This offseason is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. Thanks for sticking with me, and as always, hail to the Commanders.